И потом, что ваша практика в основном имеет дело вот с этими
Recording, and by the way, any noise in the background picks up, so.
You started already?
Yeah, it's running.
Okay, значит, sorry, forgot about Russian. I first graduated in 1997 from.
What is your name?
Oh, okay. My name is JuliaFILE. I am the attorney, and I specialize in immigration, family law, and copyrights and trademarks too. It's federal law. Immigration is a federal too, so that's how immigration came into picture. I first became a lawyer in Moscow, Russia. I graduated in '97 and received federal bar from Moscow State Law School. Then I was working in Russia as a lawyer for a few years, and in 1999 I started law school here in New York, and I graduated in 2000. And from the year 2000 I was working as an immigration attorney. And basically that's it. It's almost 7 years of experience here in the United States.
Your major specialty?
Well, again, you know, I received double Master of Law here in New York as a specialist in federal law, copyrights and trademarks. But from 2000 I was working as an immigration attorney. And it was quite an experience, actually. It was new for me, but very interesting.
Tell us about that.
Okay, I don't know if I should say about my first husband. I'm not sure it should go on record, but he was an immigration attorney, and that's how I became an immigration attorney too. And his clientele was mostly Russian. And I helped him a lot at the beginning, and then I opened my own practice in 2004. And well, you know, I like helping people, I like working with Russians. And
what kind of problems Russian immigrants have?
What kind of problems? Well, all kinds, but I'm helping with immigration and family law, and that's the big issue here, because there are lots of people who are, well, they're not exactly legal, but they're looking for a status to stay here, and that's, you know, that's an everyday problem. That's millions of people.
What is the main avenue for illegal immigrants to stay here?
Unfortunately, it's to get married, and it's not. I don't want to say that, you know, an immigration law is, you know, one way or another, but it's being changed right now, and it needs changes, because a lot of people are using immigration law, and well, you know, everyone is waiting right now for an immigration reform, and hopefully it will cover this problem too.
And if a woman doesn't want to stay in that marriage, what is her way to get citizenship without marriage?
Well, if the marriage been over 2 years, she can just self-petition for herself. Or if she was abused here, and it happens a lot, she can file the I-360 petition. It's a self-petition under Violence Against Women Act. And by today, it's the quickest way to get your green card.
Why?
Why? Because of this federal law, Violence Against Women Act. There's a special unit in Vermont working on adjudicating cases just like that. And it's very quick.
And what if she was not abused?
Well, if she was not abused, then I'm talking about fraud right now, or well, unfortunately there are cases like that, and I'm sure that people who are working in Vermont, they can, you know, pick and choose, and they can see who is lying, and there are some findings of fraud after which person is barred for life. So it's not easy, you know, to file a fraudulent petition and get your green card. It's not as easy as, you know, people may think.
Is the accused, I guess you would call them the abusers or whatever, are they allowed to file a petition in regards to their counter petition to the abuse petition?
No, the I-360 petition is absolutely confidential, and no one is contacting the abuser husband, and he might never even know that it happened.
Well, how would the Vermont Service Center know the truth if they only hear one side?
Well, they have their own ways. You know, I don't know every way, but they're checking every document, and if person is lying, there are ways to find out.
Do you know of any case when a person...
Well, there are cases when people conveniently forget to mention their criminal record, because to get your green card, you have to have a good moral character. And if someone was even arrested, let's say for prostitution or for shoplifting, that's it. It's not good moral character. This person can't stay in the United States.
And how about if a woman comes as a fiancée of one person and marries a different person, and that different person supposedly abuses her?
Well, of course, she can file the I-360 petition, but she can't get her permanent residency status here, because as a matter of law, she's barred from that. She's barred, if it's a fraud, she's barred for life. But if she overstayed her 90 days, she has to go back to her original country.
Can she appeal? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Can she appeal that decision with the...
Yes, she can appeal, but the law is very strict. She has to go back. She has to ask for permission to come back to United States. And if she's married to another United States citizen, this citizen has to file a waiver. And very small percentage of waivers get granted, so it's not easy.
Do you know of any case when Vermont Center rejected the self-petition?
Yes, I know. I've seen a couple of cases like that.
Tell us about that.
Well, one of them involved a person who was actually arrested 14 times for prostitution, and she never mentioned that in her petition. And another case was what you just said. The person came here on K-1 visa, did not marry her original petitioner, but married another United States citizen. And even after she had 2 US children, she has to go back with her husband and her children.
You mentioned 2 cases. Is this 2 out of how many cases are you familiar with?
Well, I've had hundreds of cases like that.
So how many hundreds? 500, 300? And what would your guess be?
How many hundreds I've had? Just 360s?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if it's just 360s, I would say around 200.
And you had two?
Yes.
Okay. So about 1%?
A very small percentage. Because usually those petitions are very legitimate, unfortunately. You know, and I can see that there are police reports, there are injuries, broken arms, rapes, all kind of proofs, unfortunately.
Have you ever had the chance to deal with false petitions?
I've seen people giving to INS or trying to give to me some fraudulent documents. For example, I've had a case when a person gave me a fraudulent divorce decree. And it looked, well, on its face it looks fine, but when immigration service checked it, it was a fraud. So when a person submits a fraudulent document, this person is barred for life. This person cannot adjust one way or another. She or he can get married a couple of times, have 10 US children. There is nothing to be done.
How many, sorry, I lost my thought. Why are there so many of these abuse petitions? What's motivating this? Why is there such, I guess you could call it an epidemic. What's causing this?
Well, it's an issue to be researched by, professional psychologists, psychiatrists, scientists. So I have my ideas, but of course, it's just an opinion. I think that there are lots of problems right now between men and women in general, and marriage as an institution is not as it used to be. And in the United States, there is a big shortage of, well, not say shortage, but there is a whole, not generation, but there are thousands of American men who don't want to marry here in the United States. They're looking for immigrants or foreigners. They want something different. They want to change their life. And on the other side, there are millions of women in Eastern Europe who are not satisfied with their life, and they want to change their lives. They want to come United States or England or whatever, some country with a normal economics where they can work and live a normal life. And that's how, those two are meeting. That's what's going on. And there's a big difference in culture. Some Eastern European women are absolutely used to abuse. This is normal. There are no such a thing as a police report on abuse, let's say in Russia. If you go in Moscow, whatever, any town in Russia, and try to file a police report on domestic violence, they would just laugh at you and send you home. They would say this is a domestic dispute, go home to your husband, and this is normal. So.
Would you say that a lot of these are problems result because of the short-term, go over a week later petition? The short-term is the relationship is short-term before they become fiancé?
No, not necessarily. I've had cases where people have been in relationships for 5-7 years before the abuse started. I've seen some, K-1 visas, fiancés arriving here just after a few days of seeing each other, and actually worked quite well. And on the other hand, there are couples that have been together for years. And just, let's say, this US husband did not want to file a petition for his wife because he wanted to control her and control his children. Because once she gets her green card, she's sort of free. She can go to her country, she can take children, and that's a big issue.
Of course, there's no need to file an I-3. Is it true there's no need to file an I-360 spousal abuse petition if she's already got a green card?
Of course not.
There's no reason then.
Well, there is a way. If she's got her temporary green card,
okay,
and let's say she got abused in between, she got her 2 years green card. After 2 years, she needs to file a petition again signed by her husband. And if this husband does not want to sign it, or there's an abuse going on in relationships, she needs to file, it's sort of a 360 petition. It's a petition to remove conditional status of her green card, but it goes to the same unit in Vermont. It's also under Violence Against Women Act.